Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to the Packernet Podcast. I am your host and resident panelist, as always, Ryan Schlipp. Check us out online, packernet.com. Find me on Twitter, pack_data. Well, report day is here for me. Unfortunately, as of noon, Anthony Belton has not signed. I'm still pretty optimistic this is going to happen soon. Just did a quick little scan here. It looks like about maybe half have signed. I see Elijah Arroyo just signed for the Seahawks. I don't know where. I'll have to add him to my list here, but looks like Carson Schwessinger, Jaden Higgins, Nicky Manwari, TJ Sanders, Alfred Collins, Donovan Iziroaku, Trey Harris, Ozzie Trapillo, Tate Ratledge, Jack Besh, Mike Green, RJ Harvey, Trey Amos, Shamar Turner, and then Elijah Arroyo have signed. Arroyo. Now let me get my ducks in a row here before I start just saying random stuff. All right, so I won't spend a ton of time on this because I'm, again, hoping that by the time you hear this, it's a non-factor. But a couple interesting little tidbits here. First of all, Arroyo was picked just 4 spots before Anthony Belton. Trey Harris, who signed, was 1 spot after. I don't have Trey Harris's numbers, but I'm guessing the Packers do. And so Arroyo signed for 77.97%. Trapillo, who's at 56, which is 2 spots later, is at, and Chicago did this deal, and I hate to give them credit, but this seems exceedingly low, is at 69.89%. Maybe that's about the right number. I don't know, but I'm happy to see that because Dallas, remember when I said before that it never goes up as you go down the list? So it's 80, 79, 78. It doesn't go up. Dallas has got to be the worst team in the NFL. I mean, obviously Houston has some answering to do with the whole 100% thing, although, again, it seems like they were pretty close to that to begin with. By the way, Manwari, so the number 3 guy did get 100%. So I don't know how far down that's going to go. 33, 34, 35 did get 100%. Obviously, now the number 36 guy is sitting there saying, I'd like 100%. But Alfred Collins, who we already knew about, signed for 80.82. Under no circumstance should Donovan Iziroaku sign for more than 80.82% because he was taken 1 spot later. 80.82. Do you know what Iziroaku signed for? 86.42% guaranteed. Dallas is so stupid. This is the team that has an incredible reputation of waiting way too long, and as a result of waiting, the price just continues to skyrocket. That's what Dallas is known for. In this instance, they jumped the gun, signed the guy really early to way too much. They just cannot get this right. They're overpaying everybody. I mean, it's not even technically overpaying. You paid what you were supposed to. I mean, in this case, it's overpaying. But you paid what you were supposed to. If you had signed them earlier, you could have got the lesser contract. They're just stupid. But the Arroyo thing is great because when you go from 43 to 44, it jumps from 80 to 86. It's like, oh, crap. Arroyo is 6 spots later. It's down to 77.97. So we're kind of, okay, we've reset a little bit of a baseline there at 77. Again, Harris, I don't know what Harris signed at. If he signed at some really big number, this might throw some things off. If he's at like 80 or something, that could confuse things. But it's kind of closing in to where there should be a pretty clear picture for what Anthony Belton should be signing for. So I will keep tabs on that as we go along here. I don't know Belton's status in terms of whether or not he's in Green Bay. I would hope he is. You know, he should be there, you know, working out, doing the whole thing. Just, you know, when the agent and the team figure it out, then it's all go, right? You don't need to be really doing much until, the 22nd, 23rd, whatever, the actual practice time. But still, it'd be nice to get this done, and you need to be there for it. Something else on that note, Jordan Love is also there. A lot of people heaping tons of praise on him because Jordan Love did a phenomenal thing. He showed up when the rookies did to greet them and kind of just filled in a bunch of blanks there. That story is not actually accurate. He is there, but quarterbacks are supposed to report on Friday. It's rookies, quarterbacks, and injured players report on Friday. So he's there, which is great, but he didn't show up early. He showed up on time. Just wanted to clear that up. In other pretty massive news, TJ Watt did get his deal. Kind of glad that's done. We can stop the speculation on that. Again, this was always obviously the most likely scenario, but as long as it's a possibility, you talk about it. It's obviously going to be a pretty monster deal. 3-year, $123 million extension. Keeps him on the team through 2028. The extension itself is $41 million per year, which is a silly number for a non-quarterback. As we know, those numbers are not necessarily real. It's an extension. It's not a contract. He only had 1 year left, though. It's also a massive deal for a guy that's 31. He's going to be 34 in the final year of his contract, so that's good on him. The actual contract he's going to be under, it looks like, is about $38 million per year, which is still shockingly high. It's $153 million over 4 years. $108 million guaranteed at signing. His signing bonus was $40 million bucks. So, dude just got a $40 million check to go ahead and deposit in the old bank account. With $60 million more guaranteed to come in over the next 4 years. So, pretty massive. In other news, some pretty sad, tragic news. Former Houston Texans and Philadelphia Eagles linebacker Brian Brahman has passed away at 38 after a battle with a rare aggressive cancer, according to his agent Sean Stellato. Brahman, a Super Bowl 52 champion with Philadelphia, is survived by his 2 young daughters. Also got a couple guys that are going through some legal stuff. Rashee Rice is actually pretty serious. Dallas County judge sentenced Rashee Rice to 5 years probation, 30 days of jail time that can be served during those 5 years, stemming for his role in a multi-car crash in Dallas during the 2024 season. Now that the judge has ruled, the NFL can expedite its disciplinary process, and Rice is likely to receive a multi-game suspension. I would assume so. So don't know the exact details on that, obviously, but that's going to be a bit of a hit to the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't want to be this much of a skeptic necessarily, but I do hope that the Chiefs being the darlings of the NFL doesn't play into their decisions on these things. Grok was asked about this, not by me, but I see it in the comments. What exactly the expectation is, and it says probably a 4 to 6 game ban. So we'll see if that's roughly what he ends up getting or not. In other news, more so pertaining to the Green Bay Packers, Jordan Addison also has been dealing with some legal stuff. He had a DUI case. Sounds like it could have gone to trial. He decided he'd rather just kind of reach a plea to kind of get this thing over with. Probably going to be a lesser situation, but still expected to be 1 to 3 game suspension for the DUI. So that's not going to directly overlap with any Green Bay Packers games, but still, losing a player is never going to help you win football games. As players have been returning, especially as the injured players have to return, they go through their medical thing, etc., etc. Some people have begun getting put on the old PUP list, and Detroit is one of the teams that has provided some updates. Some of this is new, some of this is not, but here is the current list of Detroit Lions still struggling through injury issues. You know, it's one of the things they're supposed to improve this year, and presumably will. We'll see how many people get injured, but not everybody's just 100% back to normal. So left tackle Taylor Decker, I don't have details exactly, but he was placed on the PUP list ahead of training camp. Alim McNeil, likewise, don't exactly have the details, but he was put on the PUP list. He is expected to miss training camp and the preseason, assuming that is still stemming from last year's issues. Linebacker Malcolm Rodriguez is not expected to return until November. Cornerback Khalil Dorsey was placed on the PUP list. Offensive lineman Miles Frazier was placed on the PUP list. Defensive lineman Mekhi Wingo, still recovering from his ACL injury. Do not know his timeline for return. Defensive lineman Levi Onwuzurike was placed on the reserve PUP list. So in total, right now, to the best of my knowledge, they have 7 people that are injured, many of which are not expected to return soon. Some of them, again, already placed on PUP. As far as how PUP works, PUP is a off-season designation. Basically just means, it stands for physically unable to perform. It means exactly what it says. They show up, doctors determine he's not able to perform, so they put him on the PUP list. They can still go to meetings and do all that stuff. They're just not allowed to participate in any physical activity. They can be taken off of PUP list at any time and immediately resume practice. It doesn't become a more serious thing once the end of, I think it's the end of preseason. It's during the 90-man, the 53 cutdowns. If they're still on PUP, they get moved to a reserve PUP list, which has different rules. We'll worry about that when we get there. All right, I'll tell you what. I stepped away for a few minutes, so there's been some updates. We got the Anthony Belton news, finally. Some others on top of that. Also, I went back and did the quarterback grading system thing that AI helped to come up with and applied that to 2023, so we can take a look at that, as well as sort of a 2 years combined deal. But we'll take a break. We'll be right back. So a flurry more of picks have come in, second-round picks, getting their contracts. Couple of interesting notes. I gave the Bears credit for potentially saving us some money. I still haven't seen the details on that, but they had an additional second-round pick. They had pick 39. Remember, picks 33, 34, and 35 were all fully guaranteed. Then, Jonah Savanaia, at 37, skipping 36, gave out a 100% guaranteed contract. Now, first of all, before we even get to the Bears, the interesting note here, Quinshon Judkins is the guy at 36. So since the guy at 37 got 100%, you would assume 36 gets 100%, and probably will. But Quinshon Judkins is the guy you might remember that's in a bit of trouble. He was charged with misdemeanor battery, domestic violence. So I don't know what's going to come of that situation, but that one still remains there. I'm sure the Browns are not happy, but again, I don't care. They helped participate in this. But you've got, so let's assume 36, Judkins is 100%. Jonah is 100%. 38 is the Patriots and Travion Henderson, the running back. That deal, as far as I know, has not gotten done. Well, the Bears decided to just jump out in front of this thing at 39 with Luther Burden, who, by the way, I believe is still injured, and gave him a 100% guaranteed contract. So it's all the way down to 39 right now. The first guy that didn't get fully guaranteed was Alfred Collins, who looks like he may have gotten screwed here because 100% is slowly coming all the way down to him. I do have to check the TJ Sanders contract. I haven't seen if that's 100% or not. But he's all the way down to 80. And again, the Dallas Cowboys gave Ezeraku 86 right after him. So San Francisco might have gotten a deal with that. But Chicago brings the 100%ers all the way down to 39. And actually, it looks like we do have details here on TJ Sanders, who is at 41. 10.073 of the 10.645, which would be 94.6%. So this is kind of the tipping point right here. So 36 and 38, Travion Henderson and Quinshon Judkins, both running backs, one of whom in legal issues, are due 100% contracts. There's no way the Patriots are getting out of that with Travion Henderson. If they haven't done it already, maybe I just missed it. The question really is going to come down to Mason Taylor, the tight end out of LSU with the Jets, because they're sandwiched in between Luther Burden at 100% and TJ Sanders at under 95%. So I would think you could get him at 97, 98% and be fine. You don't have to give out 100%. But I'm trying to get a look at some of the, looks like pretty much everybody from Anthony Belton down has signed. 54 down to 62 has all been signed. But I don't have really any of the details, but it looks like it's going to be around 70% or so. Probably a little over, somewhere between 70 and 75%. Anything outside of that range and it becomes noteworthy. But obviously the most important thing is there is no holdout here. So with Anthony Belton back in the fold, the big news and the attention really shifts to Elgton Jenkins. Zach Tom is obviously a part of this as well, but Zach Tom is not planning to hold out or whatever. He understands that this is going to get done. He's going to come in, show up, do his job. Jenkins is a guy that could be problematic, but hopefully with Belton done, we can 100% shift our focus to getting that done. And similar to Belton, I do think it'll probably get done. I'm less sure than I was with Belton because, this is just one of those things that had to get done. The Elgton Jenkins thing, it's very weird. It's very iffy, and the Packers and Elgton might not necessarily agree on his value, which is where these problems stem from. But I would say I'm above 50% that by, let's say, the 23rd, hopefully the 22nd, this will be taken care of. I also got an update here via Zach Cruz. Green Bay Packers made a trio of adjustments to their training camp schedule, including adding 2 open practices. The net result of the adjustment is the additional open practice at Packers training camp this summer. The team announced that Tuesday, July 29th and Friday, August 1st will now feature practices open to the public beginning at 10:30 a.m. However, the Packers are removing Wednesday, July 30th as an open practice. I'll take that trade-off any day of the week. So instead of practicing Sunday through Monday and Wednesday through Thursday leading into family night at Lambeau Field, the Packers will practice 3 straight days between Sunday and Tuesday and then back-to-back days before family night. The Packers will now host 15 total open practices in Green Bay. The Packers training camp schedule he has laid out here for us: Wednesday, July 23rd, the 24th, 25th, 27, 28, 29, 31, 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 12, 14, 19, 21. So it's 3 days on, 1 day off, and then that starts to get a little bit janky as we get closer to the preseason games. That August 2nd, by the way, is family night. August 14th is joint practice at Colts, so we'll be relying quite a bit on some Colts reporters to bring us the news on that. August 21st is joint practice versus the Seahawks, so that'll be in Green Bay. Also, thought I'd bring this up because I told you that this was going to happen in regards to the whole culture shift thing. Sports Illustrated has delivered a statement saying that Shane Gillis delivered a racially charged and derogatory jokes about female athletes during his ESPYs monologue. So, again, there's a shift happening, and the people that are in that place really unhappy about it. Just really unhappy. All right, why don't we shift over to the quarterback stuff that I found from 2023. So, for those that maybe missed it, quick, brief overview here. Within the past week, I did an episode where I utilized AI to kind of come through and find the best metrics for measuring quarterbacks and then quantifying that. How good are they? So that I can kind of create my own proprietary quarterback metric. The reason, I gave kind of 3 reasons. The main reason is that there's a lot of talk about quarterbacks and ranking quarterbacks, and I have a lot of things that I sort of disagree with about a lot of other people's rankings, which are based on nonsense, it sounds like, for the most part. The 3 main specifics: number 1, obviously, Jordan Love. Number 2 was Jalen Hurts, because even I wasn't necessarily sure where I would put him. But there's a lot of talk about where Jalen Hurts should be ranked. And then number 3 is Patrick Mahomes, because in my opinion, he is consistently and perpetually overrated. He's a very good quarterback. He has been. He's got all the Super Bowls. I get all that. He can make all the crazy throws. Statistically, though, he is not just... Every time somebody does... I shouldn't say every time, but I've seen too many times where somebody will do a ranking and they'll say, well, obviously number 1 is Mahomes. No, that's not obvious, and I think you need to make that case, actually. I think you should still be required to prove that. The Packers placed wide receiver Christian Watson and linebackers Quay Walker on the active, physically unable to perform list, and offensive lineman Elgton Jenkins on the non-football injury list. They can all be activated anytime. This is a new report from Tom Pelissero, just popped up. Let's see what Rob Domofsky says here. Declared non-football injury. He includes kicker Alex Hale and running back Amar Johnson on this list. So he's got a bigger list, as well as physically unable to perform. So the official PUP list includes Colin Oliver, our new pass rusher, Micah Robinson, DB out of Tulane, and then Quay and Christian. Oh, and John Williams is on the second page here. John Williams, the guard out of Cincinnati. All right, so look, as I said before, PUP doesn't necessarily mean anything serious. It's not like you have to be out for any number of weeks. It just essentially means they're not going to be ready to go, presumably right now. Being on PUP also generally would mean that these are issues that are carrying over from earlier, because if it happened not during activities, they'd be on the NFI list, the non-football injury list. So, I don't exactly remember where everybody was at when we left off, but hopefully some of these guys, Christian Watson excluded, are almost ready to come back. The NFI list, though, with Hale, Jenkins, and Amar Johnson, I mean, look, you technically can't put a guy on the list because of a contract dispute. I don't know if they're kind of playing up some kind of an injury, or Elton is lying about having some kind of an injury or something so that he doesn't have to report. I don't really know. It's possible that it's just both. There's a contract dispute and he friggin' twisted his ankle doing the cha-cha at a bachelor party or something. I don't know. But that is the list as it stands right now. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys currently unable to perform, 3 of which happened during this little break period. And of course, the biggest issue here, that it's kind of twofold. Number one, is this a very long, serious issue that's going to carry into the regular season? If not super worried about guys like Quay Walker. What is concerning is for everybody else that's trying to win a spot. Now, Amar Johnson, the running back, probably not going to win a job. Alex Hale, probably not going to be our kicker this year. However, John Williams, the guard, although I doubt he's going to start, it would be nice to get to see him. We definitely could use some depth. It'd be nice to know where he is. Could he earn a spot as sort of next man up on that line? Same goes for Micah Robinson, the DB. We're pretty thin in the DB area. Colin Oliver as a pass rusher. I know he's kind of in the early stages, but we kind of thought that about Christian as well, and he ended up kind of exploding. So his ability to, win a spot in that edge rush rotation as opposed to maybe being thrown on the practice squad or something else, you don't want to be on the PUP list. But again, it's very early, and they could be off this by the time the 23rd rolls around. Not to mention other guys are probably going to end up getting put on this list as we go along. But this is where we're at so far. All right, if we're done with the interruptions. Nope, we got more interruptions. The Packers have waived Nesta Jade Silvera, the defensive tackle out of Arizona State, as well as Cameron Young, nose tackle out of Mississippi State. So I don't know if these guys showed up injured or what, but the Packers got one look at him and said, nah, you got to go. Okay, so the 2024 findings, I don't even remember exactly where I left off, but the episode I had done, proprietary quarterback metrics, whatever, found that Jalen Hurts I had in at number 12 overall, the 12th best quarterback, Pat Mahomes 11th, and Jordan Love 10th. So they were 1, 2, and 3. Probably surprising to a lot of people, certainly was surprising to me. If you want some explanation as to how I came to that, you'd have to go back and listen to that episode. But looking at 2023 now, some other pretty interesting findings. Going to be slightly different list of quarterbacks. I am going to just quickly read through them because just for the sake of timing, just kind of makes sense because this is what we're doing. The worst quarterbacks, we had Daniel Jones actually at -9, Bryce Young -2, Mac Jones at 0. Those were the 3 worst by a pretty wide margin. Pretty big jump up from there. Joe Flacco at 21, Deshaun Watson at 22, Anthony Richardson at 27, Gardner Minshew at 29, Will Levis 30, Kyler Murray 37, Drew Lock 38, Russell Wilson 38, Joe Burrow at a 42. Seems surprising, but again, if you go through all of them, you can look at it and see, first of all, you got a whole bunch of injury stuff, so he's pretty up and down depending on when and where you're looking. But even, his PFF grade was just a 76.8. His CPOE, completion percentage over expected, he ranked 14th. The largest metric is EPA per dropback, he ranked 23rd. So it was not the best year for him. Then at number 19, still working our way up, you've got Sam Darnold at 43.9, Trevor Lawrence 44.7, Justin Herbert 46.3, Derek Carr 47, Geno Smith 52, Matt Stafford 54, Baker Mayfield 55, CJ Stroud 56. Again, CJ Stroud continually given more credit than Jordan, despite not being better than him even once. Jared Goff, 57.5. Jalen Hurts at 10th, 57.5. Pat Mahomes, 9th, 57.6. Now, to be clear, this is Pat Mahomes at around 10th, 2 years running now. So it's not like it was a one-off where he was number one in 2023 and just had one bad year. He was 9th the year before. Kirk Cousins, 58. Mason Rudolph, 62. Lamar Jackson, 63. Jordan Love, 63. Tua, 72. Josh Allen, 74. Dak Prescott, 80. And Brock Purdy, again, probably the most underrated quarterback in football, 93. So Jordan Love ranked 5th in 2023. And remember, Jordan Love did not dominate 2023. Jordan Love was kind of bad the first half of the year. Not bad is relative, but he really picked it up in the second half of the year. So think about what that means. Jordan Love had a mediocre first half and then dominated the second half so much that he was the 5th best overall. The next year, he has 3 separate injuries that cause him to stumble pretty much all the way through the season. Every time he got his footing, he got hurt again. And he ended the season as the 9th best quarterback. So from there, I looked at their averages across 2 seasons. What were their average grades? There's 27 quarterbacks listed after excluding some people that were not there previously. The worst, Daniel Jones at 27, Mac Jones 26, Bryce Young 25th, then Will Levis, Anthony Richardson, Gardner Minshew, Russell Wilson, Trevor Lawrence. CJ Stroud is 19th. 19th. Kyler Murray, Sam Darnold, Geno Smith, Kirk Cousins, Matt Stafford, Dak Prescott, Derek Carr, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow is 10th. Jalen Hurts is 9th. Pat Mahomes is 8th. Jordan Love is 7th. So those 3 are tied at the hip. At 6, another massively underrated quarterback, Baker Mayfield. At 5, Jared Goff. At 4, Tua Tagovailoa. 3, Lamar. 2, Brock. And number 1 is Josh Allen. Now, it's just 2 years. So you got some guys that were like Tua were very good in 2023, not as good in 2024. Guys like Brock who were great in 2023, not as good in 2024. Lamar, obviously massively elite, but not even close to that in 2023. But again, the point of this was to kind of normalize that a little bit and say what, you know, the best over more than just a year sample size. Now you could go to 3, but the more you go back, the more you'd want to look at trends as opposed to just averaging it out. But the bottom line is, as of right now, with Jordan Love's 2 years, and again, that's with an entirely injury-riddled 2024 and 2023 took him until the second half of the season to kind of get into a groove, he's ranked 7th. With some of the guys above him, I don't have a massive amount of faith that they're going to maintain their position. Baker's a question mark. Tua's a giant question mark. Purdy is kind of a question mark, but 2023 was so dominant, he's going to have to kind of suck this year for Jordan to make any real headway against Brock. I don't have guys like Caleb on here or any of the guys that were only in 2024 because they don't have 2 years worth. But again, I'll probably try to stick with that metric. I might put it over, I got to see about, web scraping and all that kind of stuff because I don't want to manually update this every second. But I'm interested in possibly doing this as well as developing some other metrics, possibly for other position groups, and then maybe putting it over on PackersGames.com for all of you to access. Again, I would encourage you to go make an account over there. Everything right now is completely free. The 53-man deal, I think, is basically done. I just have to push it. Which I might have even done that. And with these roster moves, we'll have to see if the automatic updating of the roster is working or not. I didn't. All right, I will get that set up very soon. I should have done a thing for Belton. What I'll do is I'll add a poll for Elton Jenkins and whether or not that gets done before, let's say, the 22nd or whatever. Before, on, or after will be maybe the options. But you get a account signed up, you get some free tokens, you can bet on some questions that I'm going to be asking just for fun. It's just kind of a how smart of a Packers fan are you kind of a deal. Try to come up with as much random nonsense as possible. Again, we've got the Green Bay Packers schedule set up there with a little ticker showing how much time until whatever. And then the 3 different tools will have the 53-man roster builder, the salary cap tool, as well as the punt distance calculator. I didn't update that either? Oh, that's crazy. Anyways, I did at one point update that. I don't know why that didn't get pushed over. Let me just hit update here so that gets done so I'm not a liar again. May still be some bugs to work out with the 53-man roster. I don't think I've got the practice squad thing all figured out yet, but you can go in there and you can go play with it and see if it's working to your liking. There it is. There's the updated punt distance calculator. So excited about that, by the way. Such a cool little animation. Zoom in, zoom out. Yeah. But anyways, let's take a break. We'll come back and we'll take some calls. We'll be right back. As expected, Patriots reached a deal, fully guaranteed, second-round pick Travion Henderson, as I said. Anywho's, Drew, what's going on?
Hey, Ryan, Drew from Green Bay. And you were talking in a recent podcast about how a lot of fans wanted more play action. And I did too, but I think play action is one of those weird things where it can help your quarterback, especially a young quarterback, to get the defense off balance and keep them honest so they can't just go straight for Jordan Love. But at the same time, it can also hinder, especially a young quarterback where you want them to be reading the field and, you're putting a lot on their play for growth where they have to read the defense and all of that. And when you throw in play action, he's got to turn his back to the defense. And so then when he turns around, he's got to read where everything is and know where the defense is going to be and all of that. And so it actually reduces the amount of time that the quarterback has to read the defense. And so part of the reason we didn't do more play action is that they might be trying to protect him from making mistakes and that kind of thing. But I would suspect that we throw more play action in as he gets more experience. So I would think every year, especially with the way we can run the ball, that we throw more and more play action. And so it's just, I don't think last year, I don't think they wanted too much of him turning his back to the defense, turning around and having to make a play right away. And also when play action goes bad, it really goes bad. A quarterback can get absolutely blown up. And you get fumbles and stuff if the defense doesn't bite on it. So, anyways, have a good day. Bye.
Yeah, I mean, the constant idea that there is just this one thing that works, that will always work, that you should just do all the time, and all the fans know it, but the coach is too stupid. He's too stupid to know that play action is a thing that is working. He's too stupid to know the analytics behind it, as though he doesn't have an entire team of people showing him these things. It's kind of absurd, right? We watch play action work a couple times and we just go, why don't you just do that all the time? Guys, come on. We got to be smarter than that. First of all, play action has drawbacks, right? As you pointed out, play action is not just automatic. There are negatives to it. Also, and we've talked about this before in the past, it's very likely that the high success rate of play action is because of Matt LaFleur, his play calling, and all those other plays that are not play action. So what you would see is the more you increase the play action, the more you're going to see the success rate plummet with play action. So listen, I know coaches and GMs and whatnot aren't perfect, but we got to stop assuming that they are just too stupid to see blatantly obvious things like that in front of their face, especially when the the media wanted to ask Matt LaFleur about it every single week. Why don't you put play action, play action, play action? Like, it's impossible for him to not know about the play action statistics.
Hey, Ryan, it's Peter from Minnesota calling again here.
What's up?
Pretty random question, nothing that actually pertains to the upcoming season or anything like that, but figured it's the off season, might as well try to cover the space here.
Sure.
My question is, I feel like most people probably become fans of their team either because their parents were fans of the team or it's just the closest team to where they live. Obviously, you have one-off scenarios if someone, like, moves a different state or doesn't care about football and then they start caring and they become a fan of the team. But if the Packers were not a team, like they never existed, what would be something that you would look for to be a fan of, and which team would you choose to be a fan of? So love to hear your thoughts. Thanks.
I mean, if we're talking about an alternate universe where I was born into a world where the Packers didn't exist, I kind of think I just wouldn't be a sports fan. The only reason I'm a Packer fan is because of my dad, who grew up in Wisconsin. My family are all Packer fans. Really not. I mean, I guess my grandparents are like Brewers fans. I don't know why that never took with my dad. Bucks as well, kind of. I mean, not really, but I feel like if you just removed that, I just would never have been raised with sports being a big deal, and that would have been that. I mean, I did grow up in Illinois. I suppose if I don't have any Wisconsin allegiances, I probably would have had more Illinois allegiances. There's a chance I could have grown up a Bears fan. More likely, a Bulls fan, considering the success of Michael Jordan at that time. My brother was a big Blackhawks fan, so possibly hockey and the Blackhawks. Baseball never really appealed to me, even in Illinois. They were bad. The Sox and the Cubs, I could not care any less about that. If we're talking about today, the Packers just up and disappear off the planet, I mean, I would definitely want to stick football, and I would just pick a team that is, probably not an NFC team. Immediately coming to mind, maybe Buffalo Bills or something. For the sake of having a podcast, I might want to choose a team that has a massive following. Possibly the Pittsburgh Steelers, just jump right back on the Aaron Rodgers bandwagon, although I don't like the trajectory of their team right now. Baltimore Ravens could be a lot of fun. I think they're a pretty well-run team. I think they do a pretty good job in the draft. I think they're positioned pretty well for the future. You're in a great spot when you have a great quarterback. So those would be the decisions I'd probably have to make if the Packers were to up and disappear. I think it would be kind of fun, honestly, as sad as it would be to lose the Packers. I mean, the idea of I'm going to start a podcast for this team and immerse myself in it. I don't know anything about it. It's kind of like from the ground up. I have to learn about the team. I have to learn about the tendencies. I have to learn about the coaching staff and all this different stuff. I think that'd be kind of fun. And no, I'm not saying I'm going to do that. I'm just saying I think it'd be kind of a fun exercise.
Hey, Ryan, Daniel from California.
Yep.
So we have the receiver group. We have some obvious guys that are going to be on this team. You got Matthew Golden, Savion Williams, Christian Watson, and then you have Jaden Reed and Dontavian Wicks and Romeo Dobbs. That's 6 already right there. I think Nicole Hardman is going to make this team. So luckily, Christian Watson is going to be hopefully on injured reserve. They might just force that just to make sure they keep Nicole Hardman, because all the little things we were hearing from OTAs and minicamp, like I'm excited about that dude, because if he could be the Christian Watson role, because we know that guy, he is a deep threat. I think he's a better MVS, right? MVS is what he is. Nicole Hardman is what he is, but he's a solid contributor. Like, I'm going to say for a deep threat, I'm going to say he's like a B- deep threat, and just having that much speed on the field will help everybody else. So getting him there, getting Romeo on the field, Jaden on the field, and Matthew Bolton all on the field, having that being our 4 receiver set, having Tucker in or Josh Jacobson, like, I'm kind of ecstatic about that. So I don't know if like eventually if we get any assets for somebody like Wicks or something. I don't know, because like just the whole drop rate thing. Like I still have belief in Jaden, and there is some hope and belief in Wicks, but like I see too many like mental errors and too many drops and stuff. Like against zone, just Reed tears it up. So I don't know, man. We have just too much depth. I don't know if we can get draft picks and then do what, but I know, and that might sound wild to some people, but we do, like I think we have a lot of depth, and I think now that's going to raise our floor, having somebody like Matthew Golden learning from these guys that have been in there. So we'll just see how it all plays out, and if he can do good and earn a second contract, because I believe it's a 1-year contract, I don't see how somebody like Dobbs and somebody like Watson get a second contract if he can provide the same level of of support, or if they can, even if he does do the deep threat thing, and that gives Christian the opportunity to come back and be a intermediate route guy. Like that's what I was hoping when we saw him like before Love's first year, like him being the across the middle, the big body across the middle guy. That's what I wanted from him, because he's so fast and gets separation. So that's all I got. Go back up.
Yeah, regardless of the routes that these guys run, starting with your speed point, there's going to be a lot of speed on the field. Whether he is a behind the line of scrimmage guy or a deep down the field guy or an across the middle guy, whatever he is, talking about Mecole Hardman, when you add that and Matthew Golden and Jaden Reed, there's a good amount of speed on the field, not to mention Luke Musgrave. So it'll be interesting to see how it sorts out. I don't think we get really anything for Wicks. Again, Dobbs, I don't think they're looking to get rid of, but if somebody's getting traded and there's compensation involved, it's probably going to have to be Dobbs. That or Christian Watson, I guess. Really hate to go that route. But I am going to leave y'all with that. I will talk to y'all tonight, tomorrow, whatever. Have a good one. Bye-bye.